You are more stressed right now than any human being who ever lived before you. Not because your life is harder, not because you are weaker, but because your brain is running ancient survival software in a world it was never built for. And here is the part nobody talks about. Ancient humans faced things that should have broken them completely. Predators, starvation, losing children, watching their tribe members die. Real, physical, life-ending threats. Every single day. And yet, they did not develop anxiety disorders at the rates we do today. They did not lie awake at 3 a.m. spiraling about things that hadn't happened yet. They did not need to medicate themselves just to get through Tuesday. So what did they know that we don't? That is exactly what we are going to find out today. And before we dive in, I want you to ask yourself something honestly. When did you last go a full day without feeling stressed? Not a little tense. Not a little anxious. Genuinely, completely calm. For most people, the answer is they cannot remember. And that is not a personal failure. That is a design problem. A mismatch between ancient biology and a modern world that moves faster than any human nervous system was ever built to handle. But here is what gives me hope. The solution is not new. It is not cutting edge. It is not waiting to be discovered. It has been sitting inside your body for 300,000 years. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to access it. Before we go back 300,000 years, we need to understand something. Stress is not the enemy. Stress is information. When a lion appeared at the edge of the camp, something extraordinary happened inside an ancient human's body. Heart rate spiked. Pupils dilated. Blood flooded the muscles. Digestion stopped completely. The body became a weapon in under 3 seconds. That is the stress response. And it is one of the most sophisticated systems ever built by evolution. The problem is this. That system was designed for threats that lasted minutes, not months. An ancient human faced a lion. They ran. They escaped. And within 20 minutes, their cortisol levels returned to baseline. The threat was over. The body reset. Now ask yourself this. When did your stress last have an ending? When did your body last get the signal that the threat was gone? Because your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a lion and an overdue bill, between a predator and an unanswered email. It fires the same response. And when that response never gets to finish, when there is no escape, no resolution, the system starts to break down. That is chronic stress. And ancient humans almost never experienced it. And here is the proof. Researchers have studied cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, in indigenous communities that still live close to ancestral patterns. The findings are striking. Baseline cortisol levels in hunter-gatherer populations are significantly lower than in industrialized societies. Not slightly lower. Significantly. Even when those communities face genuine hardship, drought, illness, conflict, their cortisol spikes and then returns to baseline. The way it was designed to. Ours spikes and stays there. Day after day. Week after week. Year after year. And the long-term effects of chronically elevated cortisol read like a list of every modern health epidemic we face. Weight gain, poor sleep, weakened immunity, heart disease, depression. All of it downstream of a stress system that never gets to finish what it started. So here is the question. What did they actually do? Because they had real threats, real loss, real pain. The answer is 3 things. And none of them cost anything. None of them require a subscription. And all 3 of them are still available to you tonight. The first thing ancient humans did when they were stressed was move. Not because they knew the science. Because the body demanded it. When the stress response fires, it floods your bloodstream with glucose and adrenaline. That fuel has one purpose: physical action. Run. Fight. Climb. Throw. Ancient humans burned that fuel the way it was designed to be burned. We don't. We sit with it. We absorb the stress signal, generate all the fuel, and then we sit at a desk and let it simmer. Here is a fun fact that will change how you think about exercise forever. A study published in the journal Neuroscience found that just 20 minutes of moderate movement reduces cortisol levels more effectively than any over-the-counter stress supplement on the market. 20 minutes. Not an hour. Not a gym membership. 20 minutes of walking, and your nervous system starts to believe the threat is over. Because that is what the body expects. Movement is the signal that you survive. Ancient humans moved an average of 9 miles a day. Not because they were athletes. Because they were alive. And here is the uncomfortable question I want you to sit with. How many miles did you walk yesterday? And here is something even more interesting. It was not just the distance that mattered. It was the type of movement. Ancient humans moved through nature. Uneven ground, changing light, wind, temperature shifts. Every step required micro-adjustments from the brain and body. That constant low-level sensory engagement, researchers now believe, is itself a form of stress regulation. There is a reason a walk in nature feels different from a walk on a treadmill. Your nervous system knows the difference. One is the environment your brain evolved inside. The other is a machine in a temperature-controlled room. Both move the body. Only one moves the mind. The second thing ancient humans did when something bad happened, they talked about it. Immediately. Openly. With everyone. There was no such thing as suffering in silence in a hunter-gatherer tribe. If someone was attacked, if someone lost a child, if the hunt failed 3 days in a row, the entire tribe knew. The entire tribe gathered, and they processed it together. Around the fire. Out loud. Through story. Here is what is fascinating about this. Modern neuroscience has a name for what happens when you verbalize a painful experience. They call it affect labeling. And here is what the research shows. When you name what you are feeling out loud, or even in writing, activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, drops significantly. You literally calm your own nervous system by describing what is wrong. The ancient humans didn't read that study. They just did it naturally. Every night. Around the fire. With the people they trusted. And here is the thing that should make you stop and think. Most people today, when something goes wrong, go quiet. They scroll. They distract. They push it down. And the amygdala keeps firing. Because the story never got told. I want you to think about the last time something really stressed you out. Did you talk about it? Really talk about it? Or did you bury it and move on? Drop your answer in the comments. We genuinely want to know. Scientists studying the Hadza people of Tanzania, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth, found something remarkable. The Hadza spend an average of 3 to 4 hours a day in face-to-face conversation. Not texting, not voice notes. Sitting together, looking at each other, talking. The average person today spends less than 19 minutes a day in meaningful face-to-face conversation. 19 minutes. We replaced 3 hours of human connection with 3 hours of screen time. And we wonder why anxiety is at an all-time high. Let me give you one more number that puts this into perspective. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day, once every 10 minutes. Each check is a micro-interruption, a tiny jolt to the attention system. A moment where the brain asks, is this a threat? Do I need to respond? Am I missing something? Multiply that by 96. Every single day. Ancient humans had interruptions too. A sound in the darkness. A shift in the wind. A cry from across the camp. But between those interruptions, there was silence. Real silence. The kind of silence that allowed the nervous system to fully reset between alerts. We no longer have that silence. And the nervous system, which was never built for this level of constant input, is paying the price. The third thing ancient humans did to handle stress is the one that surprises people the most. They used ritual, not religion, not superstition. Ritual. Repeated, predictable sequences of behavior that signaled to the nervous system you are safe. This moment is known. You have been here before. The fire lit at the same time each evening. The same song sung after a successful hunt. The same gathering, the same faces, the same sequence of events, night after night. Neuroscientists now know that predictability is one of the most powerful antidotes to anxiety. Because anxiety is fundamentally about uncertainty. The brain doesn't fear danger as much as it fears the unknown. And ritual converts the unknown into the known. Ancient humans were masters of this, not because they were wise, but because consistency was survival. The same camp, the same fire, the same people. And every time the ritual completed, the nervous system exhaled. Here is a question worth asking yourself. What rituals do you have? Not routines. Rituals. Because a routine is something you do to get something done. A ritual is something you do to tell your nervous system, this moment matters. You are here. You are safe. Now here is where it gets really interesting. We have replaced all three of these things. We replaced movement with comfort. We replaced conversation with content. We replaced ritual with novelty. And every single replacement feels good in the short term. Sitting down feels better than walking when you are tired. Scrolling feels easier than talking when you are overwhelmed. Watching something new feels more exciting than doing the same thing again. But the nervous system is not looking for what feels good. It is looking for what feels safe. And safety, ancient, biological, bone-deep safety, comes from movement, connection, and predictability. Not from a podcast about mindfulness. Not from a weighted blanket. Not from an app that tells you to breathe. Those things can help at the edges. But they are not the thing. The thing is 300,000 years old, and it is still inside you. So what do you actually do with this? 3 things. Simple. Starting tonight. First, move before you process. When you feel the stress spike, before you try to think your way through it, move. Walk around the block. Do 10 minutes of anything physical. Burn the fuel the way it was designed to be burned. Then think. Second, tell someone what is actually wrong. Not a filtered version. Not, I'm fine. The real thing. Out loud. If there is nobody available, write it down. The brain responds to written words almost the same way it responds to spoken ones. Name it. The amygdala will quiet. Third, build one ritual for the end of the day. Same time, same sequence, same signal. It does not need to be spiritual. It does not need to take long. 5 minutes of the same thing, in the same order, at the same time each evening. And watch what happens to your sleep. And we want to add one more thing, because this is the piece most people skip. Be patient with yourself. Your stress response was shaped over 300,000 years. You are not going to rewire it in a week. But here is what ancient humans understood instinctively. Every small act in the right direction counts. One walk, one honest conversation, one repeated evening ritual. None of these things will change everything overnight, but all of them, done consistently, begin to send a new signal to your nervous system. The threat is not permanent. The danger has an end. You survived today. And that signal, repeated enough times, is how the ancient human body learned to trust the world again. Ancient humans did not have therapists. They did not have medication. They did not have stress balls or cold plunges or dopamine menus. They had movement. They had each other. And they had rhythm. And the research is now catching up to what their bodies already knew. The most effective stress tools ever developed by humanity are free. They are ancient. And they are available to you right now. Your body already knows how to do this. You just have to let it remember. If this made you think differently about how you handle stress, hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Better Instincts. Because next video, we are asking a question that will make you look at your body completely differently. Why did ancient humans never get fat? No gym. No diet. No calorie counter. Not a single obese human in 300,000 years of history. What did they know that we have completely forgotten? That answer is coming next video. See you then.